Konbanwa. Konbanwa. Hello, hello. Whoosh, we're here. We're started. We're ready to go. It's always a rush right at the very end. Like, I had time this evening, but just before stream, I always end up doing something just before, and it, like, I don't know. Maybe there's just a little something a little frantic about going live. What's going on there? Hello, everyone. New chatter. Hello, DH. Welcome in. You're here bright and early. Busy day going by the stream title. Yeah. We were off. I don't know if Dave mentioned it. I think he must have. We'll get into that a little bit later, but we did some interviews today. Let's see. Business City, Neidhart, Vivid, all the regular folks. We're starting to get a regular crowd, which is cool. Welcome in, everyone. Flyfish, Foxwell, Vivid, Duha. What else is here? You look like a pro even if it's frantic. I'm not sure that's true at all. Hello. Okay. We're going to be working on the bonsai print again. I do actually want to be working on my little Sin Schefter design. I haven't had time to work on that. I did get most of all the carving for that print that I wanted to do on stream. I ended up doing off stream, and now I've just got a little bit more on the key block on the other side, but I don't really want to show you guys that yet. So I'm back on the bonsai tonight. The never-ending print, the uncarved block, whatever you want to call it. We'll get there eventually one day. Konbanwa. Hello. Okay, let's get into it. I'm not going to do a big preamble today. I should have actually set up this camera a little bit better. I am not on focus at all. Where do I want to be? Over here. Come in there. Always shaky camera right at the start of the stream. Is that about right? Is that where we want to be? Okay, let's get to it. I have some knives here. Hopefully this one's okay. Let's go, and we'll get into some other stuff. I'm going to get carving. What day is it? It's Tuesday. I guess it's Monday for most of you, so you're all feeling a little rough today, I'm sure. I'm settled into the week. I had a nice day today. Pleasant day, but I guess it's a little bit tiring. I had to get across Tokyo today, and I had some major delays on the train. It was a nightmare. It should have been just like one train most of the way, and then just like a quick one stop on another train. And Ayana leaves a little bit earlier for work. She also came with us today, and she left earlier than me, and I drop our son off at elementary school. Not elementary, it's way too young for that. At daycare. I dropped him off there, but the time I had to be there was a little bit early with getting across Tokyo and dropping him off, so I had to like organise my morning really, really well. I got the perfect train that got me there, just like in Japan, being on time is late, so you've got to get there like 5-10 minutes early. So I got there 5-10 minutes early. Well, I'd planned to, and I did actually manage it, but it was a nightmare to do it. Just all the trains, there's not many lines that go north. I live in Saitama, which is, it's Tokyo, basically. It's considered a different city, but it's all like connected. And the train lines going up there, they're a little bit sparse, and they all sort of use the same tracks. So there was like 3 trains, and there must have been something major. I didn't actually find out. Thank you. I didn't actually find out what went wrong today. Where am I? Ah, okay, I was carving up here, that's the problem. I'll just move this down. Gomen. Technical difficulties. Is that better? Cool. Someone's saying it was personal injury. I don't know what it actually was, but yeah, so something went on, and I was like jumping across trains. It should have been just one train most of the way, but I ended up getting on like 3 or 4, jumping around to try and like get there on time. I managed it eventually, but I did have to do a little bit of running at the end. Are we okay now? Tip of the yeah, we're all good. So yeah, we got there on time. We went today to meet up with Dave and Ito Susumu's daughter. And most of you here are probably, you've come to me from Dave, I'm sure most of you. I haven't built my own community just yet. But I'm sure all of you have watched the Remembering the Carver video. That's one of Dave's biggest videos. And he did a part 2 a little while ago, and he's planning a part 3. Don't get too excited now, because I'm sure it's a couple months off, like at the very best. So we went to interview his daughter, and I guess she's about the same age as Dave. When you say someone's daughter, like the image is a little bit of a younger person, but she's about the same age as Dave. And me, Ayano, and Dave went there, and we were basically cameramen. Ayano was doing some cameras, I was doing some cameras and collecting B-roll and stuff. And it went really well. I'm not going to discuss too much about like the actual contents of what she said. But it went really well, and I think the video is going to be really nice. I'm not sure how much of the actual footage today, the interview, he's going to use. He's probably just going to choose a few segments and like some of the best bits. It was a little bit unfortunate actually. I was really focused on like making sure all the mics and cameras are like running smoothly. There was a bit of mic issue. And so like my Japanese is okay. I can like understand what's going on. But I kind of have to focus to do that, and so I missed some bits. But the general conversation was really good, and she was great on camera actually. She was really quite good at speaking on camera. She didn't seem too put out by the whole situation, which is good. Yeah. Knitting Mare is saying the paper video is in the queue before that one. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he said something like that on stream before, and I guess that would probably be what he's wanting to do, because they did go and take some footage in Fukui, didn't they? And I think Sadako-san went up there as well to take some footage. I'm not 100% sure on his plans. Maybe you can ask him on his next stream. But yeah, there is a third part to that video coming, and I got gifted some stuff at the end. She was really lovely, and I got given a little memento. We got talking about me also being a carver, Dave was saying, and I got this little package. I'm sure most of you can guess what this is. This is one of his knives. So you can see here it's well used. I don't like getting so much of this on, and I try and avoid it. So mine's actually quite small. You can see that I'm a young carver by the way mine's sharpened. And then this is someone who's been carving all their life, right up to the day he passed, he was carving. So I got given this little knife. It's quite interesting. The blade is coming off at a little bit of a strange angle from the handle. That's because it's a brand new blade and it's a little short. There's no cut through at the end there. And I guess the original insert blades were used to be a little bit shorter, and they started making them longer so you didn't have to buy as frequent, I guess. Maybe something happened there. But this blade is a little bit long for this handle. It's a brand new blade. It's not his sharpened. This is how they come from the supplier. They just have a rough point. It's really not sharp at all. It's like got nearly 1 millimeter at the end there. Oops. Sorry about that. It must have been a whoosh sound in the back. But yeah, this is one of his blades, and it was obviously much longer at the top, and he's cut it off. I'll put my knife next to it for perspective to see how rounded the ends are. And size-wise, they're actually identical. They're identical in length. So my fingers were quite a bit... I'm struggling to find where this should be. Yeah, same size and length. I guess his was a little bit too big for his hand, and so he cut off the end to make it the right size for him. But yeah, there you go. I have my very own Ito Susumu knife. And it's not got the crazy sharpening like Dave has on his one. But yeah, the wood's really nice as well. But it's funny, he's just sliced it off at the end and sort of sanded them off, but it's a little bit rough. And it's not completely straight. I haven't had a chance to take this apart or anything, but I'll do that a bit later. And I won't be using it. I'll just keep this as a memento. And maybe by the time I'm that age, I can have a little collection of other carvers' knives. But there you go. Maybe I'll take some pictures and I'll do a bit of explanation on an Instagram post or in the Discord. I also got one other thing which I'll show you in a little bit. I think you're just talking amongst yourselves, right? How long is a new blade usually? Well, I've got some new blades so I can take them out. My guess is this blade will be the same size as my blade. Yeah. So it's a brand new blade. You can see here they're identical. This is how they come from the supplier. So I don't know what they used to be in the past. If this was just mine and I was going to use it, I would cut through the back end here for sure, because I'd like to have more flexibility in where the blade can sit. So mine's cut up at the back there. And often when we get them, like the holes are a little bit tight, or they've got some varnish inside and the blades stick a little bit, so I'll sand the inside, or if you get one that isn't cut quite far enough down, like, modify your tools, people. Make them work for you. I'm a big proponent of modifying and making your tools better. So yeah, that's a really precious memory that I wanted to share with you. That's going to sit in a little box for me. And I got one other thing. Maybe I can put this to the face cam again, and I can show you. Can anyone guess what's in the bag? So yeah, the blade looks a little tilted off center. That's because the blade itself is too long, and it doesn't fit all the way in the knife. It's not intentional. A donut. No. This is a flask. So in front of me here, I have a bulb, a flask similar to this one, and a light bulb behind it, and we use that to diffuse the light. This is Ito Susumu's flask. This is the flask he used to use. He said, we asked his daughter if he'd ever had a different one, like if she knew of him breaking a flask ever, and he said no. Apparently Dave has broken his, that's why he was asking. But yeah, this is his flask. No, I didn't have to fight Dave for it. It wasn't offered to Dave, it was offered to me. And Dave was very gracious. I'm sure I'll lend it to him for his video. But I thought that was a pretty cool memento as well. It's slightly larger. It says it's the same mils as mine, but it looks a little bit wider. Spiegel, hello. Another treasure, yeah. So I'm full of treasures today. I'm in an excellent mood. Things are good. I don't want to smash that actually. I'll stick it back in the bag. So yeah, stay tuned. There will be a future video to that. I don't want to really say any much more about it. I don't want to spoil any surprises that are coming up in that, but it was a very good conversation. Lovely woman. I'm glad I could get along and sort of help out for that. So if you see any footage in the next one, just know that was me and Ayana. Okay, back to carving. Okay. Let's tackle this sort of confluence of grains. Some nice lines here as well. Who drew this? Yeah, I thought you guys would enjoy that. We got to see some of his work as well. Some of his prints, of course. She had some on the wall, and then she had some others that she had in her collection. Some of the stuff he had made. And then she also had a bunch of stuff that she thought was just sort of like junk, and perhaps some of it was already thrown away and this is just the stuff that was kept. But all his Handstare, and after a carver finishes a block, you always take your own impression. What's this? Is this a hype train? Something just scrolled across my screen, I'm not sure. Thank you if anyone did anything there. So after a carver finishes carving a block, you take an impression for yourself to check that all the lines are fine, there's no major mistakes before you go on to the colour blocks. Once you've started on the colour blocks, there's no real adjusting the key blocks. So you need to take an impression and make any tweaks you want then, because you can't do it after. And then also another thing that a carver will do is after 350 followers, thank you. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you all so much. So after you have finished all the blocks, you'll usually use that same impression you made. You take a nice impression after you finish the key block, and then you make your adjustments if you have to make any. If you do, you'll make another, you'll take another test print just to double check everything. And then you'll send your blocks off to the printers. And it's always good practice to send a copy of your carefully printed key block impressions. Printers work quickly, they're on deadlines, and they don't care about the taste in your lines so much. They want to make nice prints. So they're more focused on smooth impressions. And as a result, on wet paper and printing a little too hard, often printers can take your delicate lines that you carved and they can smash the lines a little bit and make all your lines a little bit fatter, and you'll get the final print if you haven't sent away one of these impressions. And you'll go, oh, this is a lovely print, everything's so smooth, but my lines are so much nicer than that. What have you done to my lovely key lines that I spent ages delicately carving? So there's always going to be a little bit of a difference. Like, we print our test prints on dry paper, and printers are using wet paper, and the paper's thicker, and it's not smooth, and most of the time it's not calendared. So the impressions we take from our key blocks are always really, really sharp and crisp. And so they're going to swell slightly. But if it's too much and you think it's not really good, you can sort of bring it up and say, look, this is the lines I carved. Let's print it a little bit nicer in the final version. Please go a little bit softer on my lines. Nunha, welcome. Hi. So it's sort of your way to show the publisher as well, like if they complain about the taste in the lines or something, you say, no, I've got taste in my lines. Look at the print I sent with the blocks. Like, that's not my mistake, that's a printer issue. It's not really a big deal in Mokohankan, like, but when you're working with maybe a printer you're not so used to working with, like, you don't really get to decide on the printers, that's the publisher's decision. Especially when everyone's not in-house. So it's good to send a copy of your print with it. And therein lies the story of how inter-office fights begin in the woodblock printing industry. Everyone's nice about it, but yeah. It kind of sucks to get a print back. Like, it's happened to me where you've done it really beautiful and you come back and like it's misregistered in quite an egregious way, or like the lines are just all over a little bit thicker. It's like, I spent so long making these beautiful delicate lines and you just smashed it. We don't say anything, obviously. I'm going to get myself in trouble on these streams, you know. I work with a lot of different people, though. There's no way. And I have no hard feelings towards that printer. So no inter-office fights here. So there was a bunch of those, and I could tell that it was those because of the paper it was printed on. And also, he had a few kyogozuri to the sheets we make. The hanshita is what we put on the key block. That's what we get from the publisher. And then we take impressions from the key block to create the color images, the color separations. And those are called kyogo. So he had a bunch of kyogo there as well. Not coloured in, but just, we know they were kyogo because there was some memos on some of them, and then there was also some little areas like marked up. And we know they were kyogo because they were on what's called, it's the same paper I use for my transfer. Dave's stuff is a little bit different, but it's the same in concept. It's called gampi awase. It's gampi that's pasted on some pulpy paper. Gampi awase, or awaseshi gampi. So it's super interesting to look through another carver's like collections. Obviously, I've been through Asuka Sensei. He has the same box like that, full of all like stuff that he's worked on, and I have a bunch of my own from various projects. Oh, and also his desk. Oh my god, his desk. So our desks are angled. There's a slight angle on them. And they were using it as an end table. They had a roll of cellophane under one of the sides to like lift the front legs up so the table was like basically horizontal. But it was so tiny. It was really, really small. The legs were really narrow, and I'm not even sure that like cross-legged I could have fit in it. I think he was quite a short man. The look on your face gives the story away. There's no hard feelings. So you're saying it's hard to let go of your carved block, baby? Back in my, like when I was starting out, like each block, I'm not saying it's not now, but I'm learning to detach myself a little more from the blocks, because in the beginning I'd make a project and I had like a vision in mind of what I wanted the block set to look like, which is why I didn't publish or like actually finish many blocks in my earlier years, because I just make them, mostly just the key blocks. I just make key blocks and I'd see it, take a test print, and there was just like something missing. We got ad breaks starting now. Sorry, I didn't mention it. There's ad breaks. I'll finish when we get back. My ad blocker didn't work. How dare you? How dare you? When everyone's back, I'll carry on with the story. A couple other things. Let's look at my notes. Yeah, okay. I want to talk about some books later as well. Are we back? Ads over? Come in, Nick. Jack, where was it? So, in the early days of carving, I was really precious, and each block was sort of like a love affair. And the love would eventually sour when I printed and saw that it wasn't like quite living up to my standards. Thank you. And because I'd just put in everything. Like I'd work stupid hours to try and get these done quickly. When I had no real deadlines, I just wanted to like get good quick. So keep making blocks. And so when I finished the project, I'd just be exhausted and I'd feel so hollow because it wouldn't look like I envisioned it. Like I know I can do better and it's not quite there. So I guess part of it is I've got better and I'm having that feeling a lot less. Nowadays, the opposite thing tends to happen, actually. Like, I think, oh, I haven't done very good on this. The wood was bad, and I couldn't get... My knife wasn't very sharp on that day. I should have sharpened more. This is not going to be a good block. And then I'll print it, and I'll go, oh, this is a lot better than I thought. So I guess that's one of the reasons I've mellowed out on that. But yeah, each block was like a love affair. And I wasn't giving them away to printers at that point. But I think I would have had a little bit of a hard time letting go of my babies. It would have been exciting to get them printed, obviously. And I printed some of my own and just sent them to friends and family at that time. But do outfits like Twitch know if you use one of those ad blockers? I think if somebody manages to block an ad on ad blockers on Twitch, I don't think I get any revenue for that. But like ad revenue on a channel my size, I don't think it's anything. It's like maybe 30 cents here and there. If you want to use an ad blocker, that's okay. But a subscription is preferable. At least you're mentally moving in the right direction. No, I'm okay now. I'm okay. I think it's a good thing as well. You know, I'm supposed to be, as a true traditional craftsman, maybe more detached from my work. But like I got good because I cared a lot. So I don't think it was really such a bad thing. I think more so it was just being fried after a project, after like spending late nights doing something so much. One day the book Taransan, The Early Years. I don't know about that. Perhaps, I don't know. I don't have an intention to do that. Not right now, anyway. Maybe I'll spoon feed you little drips here and there of the early years and someone else can write it. Speaking of books, who was that? Great segue. Flyfish, thank you. I wanted to talk about some books. I like to listen to audiobooks when I work, but I kind of live in indecision purgatory with my book selections. That's why series are so good for me. Hang on a second. This knife, it's sharp, but it's not as sharp as I like it. Like, it's a nice sharp knife. It's cutting smoothly, but there's just like a little something in there. So here's one I made earlier. Sensei Martian's here. Hello, hello. Welcome in. What was I saying? Books. So I just finished 4 books by Brandon Sanderson. I want to know if anyone else has read Brandon Sanderson. He's been coming up. I know that he's got like some really long series of books. I got into his books, The Secret Projects, because I heard it was a good intro. His name had been popping up on my Audible account. I like to listen to books. I spend long hours sitting down all day. And I read his secret... What were they called? I just said the word. Secret something. Secret projects. So there's 4 books in his secret projects, and they sort of like stand alone. Although the last one does sort of tie into his larger legendarium, I think. But I really enjoyed him. It's on my list in the future. Sandon, yeah, this is the thing. Sanderson publishes so much. And I know it's kind of heavy to get into him. And so I live in this sort of indecision purgatory. And when I'm in a series, like I know I'll just stick to it. But if I start on hit like his main series or something, start reading some of his other books, which I'm sure are really great, but I'll just end up not reading. What is it reading? Listening to. I'll end up not listening to any other authors if I start him in earnest, I think. And if I don't make a decision, I guess I'll end up back at re-listening to the Game of Thrones audiobooks. But I did really like his books. They were really good. They were all very different, and they all had something. Stormlight Archive, that's it. That's the series. That's his main one, isn't it? How is the Stormlight Archive? I think that's what the final book in his secret projects sort of connected into. It's good, but they're so far apart. Far apart as in taking a long time to be released. So it's not a finished series yet. Maybe I'll leave it until it's finished then. I don't want to be in a winter situation. So that, yeah, there's more to go. Maybe I'll hold off for a bit. You enjoyed the Stormlight Archive too. Currently reading Locked Tomb series by Tazim Muir. I'm so bad at names, honestly. The next Songs of Achilles was a fantastic book. I absolutely loved that. That was an incredible book. Great suggestion. If anyone hasn't read that, it's like beautiful. The way it's written is fantastic. I'm not like a huge like book guy, but I have a lot of time on my hands and I like getting into new series. That was a fantastic. I trust your suggestions now. I'll give a Locked Tomb a listen. Mistborn, yeah, okay. I know that. Most of the Sanderson series are in the same universe. He's writing another Mistborn trilogy right now. Okay. Yeah, you know, I sort of gathered that because I didn't really know much about him going into the secret projects. I just knew that he was like supposedly a good contemporary sci-fi writer. But by like halfway through the second book and then into the third book, I was like, there's some common threads here. There's like a structure to the universe that's like carried through, even though the worlds are really different and the setting and everything is very, very different from book to book. There seem to be some like common threads. sort of like the central magical system. It's not magic. It's sci-fi, but what is the thing in his world? What's it called? He loved the Circe books of Songs of Achilles. I haven't read the Circe book. I went straight to Songs of Achilles. But I was thinking about reading that as well. So anyway, so it doesn't just become a library show. Like, drop your suggestions in and I will check them up. So the magic system, yeah, it's all derived from the same kind of power. What is the word for, what does he call it? That's going to bug me. Investiture. That was it, investiture. Anyway, Brandon Sanderson, cool. He's kind of a fun writer. Seems like he'd be cool to have a beer with. Good sense of humour, maybe. This is where someone tells me he's actually a terrible person and he's just been cancelled. Taryn's Book Club Corner. Maybe it's not a returning segment, but when I'm struggling for a new book suggestion, I'll call you back. While I was in indecision, I end up... I'm the same with restaurants and stuff, you know. Like, when I don't know, like, how something's going to be, I think, do I chance it on this thing, or do I just, like, go back to something good that I know and love? I have no problem, like, rewatching shows, movies over and over and over again. They're always great, so why not just enjoy what you like? But I do often feel guilty that I should be, like, branching out and trying new things. The thing that's, like, kind of made me hesitant this time is, I don't know if any of you know this series. It's called A Court of Thorns and Roses, and it was suggested to me by my Audible account, and I won't be taking any more suggestions from Audible because it's the horniest book. It's really not designed at, like, a 32-year-old guy. It's so horny. And it doesn't get horny straight away. It starts off, like, really casual, starts building, like, this sort of dark world. Just this cool protagonist who lives out, who does some hunting. I'm like, okay. And then she goes to a fairyland, and then the fairyman has big bulging muscles. And I can't not finish things. And I always, like, even if a movie I don't like, I'll just sit there sort of hate watching it until the end and gone, right, I gave it a chance and it was crap. So I kept reading this thing thinking it can't just be this the whole way through. Oh no, there's another sexy elf creature who's got even bigger, sexier muscles, but he's dark. And then it goes back to being normal for a little bit. I got, like, I don't know if I got halfway. I must have got more than halfway, actually. I got a third or 2/3. I can't remember. It was a while. It's deleted from my library now. I can't see how far I got into it. You zoned out. Which book should you totally avoid? No, you should give it a read. It's a great read. The first third of it is fantastic. It's called A Court of Thorn and Roses. I think it's aimed at like 16-year-old girls, not a big beardy weirdo who loves wood. The algorithm for Audible is janky. It's not great. Audible knows exactly where you stopped in it. Audible may know, but yeah, maybe my insistence on like pushing things to its conclusion, maybe that's what's like ruining my algorithm. Is that I keep listening to things that I really don't enjoy. Terrible, Missouri. If I had some mods, I'm sure you'd be banned already, but that's too much faff for me to figure out how to ban someone. Maybe just like a minute timeout. Happy there's no mods here. Also, they never spelled my name to ban you. Is it because I'm reading your name so jankily? Moving on from books, we watch a show with our dinner. We put our son to sleep, and we watch shows with our dinner. It's the only real time we get to it's our rest time of the day. She's finished work, the kids asleep. And we've been watching The Last of Us. And I'm a massive Pablo Pascal, is that his name? Fanboy now. He's fantastic. He's so good. Who needs mods when you're all pretty moderate here? Well, for now. For now, we've got 30, 40 people watching. And this thing is gonna blow up, right? So we'll see. We'll see if the book club will make people more rowdy and you'll start suggesting random horny novels. Then we might need to get some mods in. It's getting hot in here already. Talking of horny books will get us banned. No, but if I ask for book suggestions and all of them are horny books, and you make me waste all my credit on some dodgy picks, then it may get you banned, yeah, but straight off the bat it won't be. Honestly speaking, there's a lot of self-published trash these days. Mostly horny, in a bad, boring, inappropriate way. Yeah. Agreed. Speaking of horny books, though, Songs of Achilles is a little bit, but it's beautiful. It's written really nice. It was a little while ago I read that, actually. Yeah, you said that you can return books on Audible if you don't like it, but maybe not if you've read 2/3 of them. Adding fuel to the fire. Yeah, I'll zip it. Turns out I'm the problem here. It's not you guys. I'm initiating all these conversations. I saw you guys were chatting in the chat before the stream went live. Well, before I was live. About Vivid KP's block set that you posted to the Discord. A little while ago she showed a print she was working on, and you finished the blocks now. Did you just finish that just before you posted them, or a little bit earlier this week? Have you got to test printing yet? I saw someone ask, I didn't actually see the answer though. Are you on to the test printing now? My blade came a little bit far and just touched the side of that. I have to cut a little bit further back here. Finished carving 2 nights ago. Got about halfway done in the test printing yesterday. Good job. How's it looking? And that also goes for anyone else in the chat. If you're making your own prints, share them in the Discord. We'd all love to see them. I was wondering about your way you cleared, actually. I was looking at your blocks. Are you using you don't have a large clearer, do you? You don't have anything like this. You're using smaller, sort of rounded chisels. If you don't have a large chisel, you've been making prints for a while now. And you're pretty committed to this hobby. Invest in one, it'll save you so much time. Save your wrists. And the crook of your hand here. Ah, okay, you have a flat chisel, but it's so loud that you don't like to use it. Use it. Use it. Put some earphones in. Listen to some good music. pretty much everyone when they start out, they get like a knife, a couple chisels, maybe some people have the V chisel, some U gouges, but basically no one starts out with a big wide clearing chisel. I was the same. My first blocks were all the valleys cleared with like a little U gouge. It just takes so much time, and your hand, it gets sore, and it just looks ugly. Not that your blocks look ugly, but mine did. Maybe I'll show you one of my first blocks. It's like half an hour of Udasai, noisy. But then you're done. Also, the flat one is not sharp enough, and so it's gone. Lacked the patience to get it sharpened. Okay, just for you, and also because we got an advert coming up in a minute, I'm going to tell you how to sharpen your knife really easy. Those big chisels, they take a little bit of time, they take a long time, but they're not difficult to get them flat because there's so much metal. So after the ads, we're going to get into some sharpening on that. That's going to be our tech corner for today. Someone else was talking about sharpening, and I'm sure they were talking about this, but I don't want to talk about sharpening this today. Let's do sharpening the big chisels. Gave up on a flat chisel because of too many errors. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Errors with the flat chisel? Carving out portions you weren't supposed to carve out, you mean? I don't know why a flat chisel would be more prone to that. Sharpening, yeah, everyone wants me to do sharpening videos. I'm not super into making sharpening videos, you know. But I know it's useful. I'm kind of obligated to make them. I don't mind doing little sharpening snippets. I kind of have a thing where I really don't want it to just be like tutorials. I'm not interested in making tutorials or doing like online lessons and stuff like that. But I think in my videos I always try and put like some information that, like, if you're carving yourself and you have questions, like, you can sort of just see how I do it, and that's answering most of your questions there. And then things that need a little bit more explanation, I'll just do like a quick explanation on that. But like just dedicated tutorials I'm not super interested in doing. Not until like I'm much older. When I'm older I'll probably write a book or make like something like that. But for right now, I'm not super into it. Ads are over. I would tend to rotate my chisel very slightly, causing one edge to dig in, and it would be okay. So you'd get like a large section just sort of ripping and tearing because it was rotating. The way to avoid that is by doing proper U-gouges, and then you come in one side. That's actually a good thing. That it's ripping and tearing like that is a good thing. So Where's my center point? So you're digging in and you rotate it a little bit and it rips down this edge. Let me just change the shutter speed. So it rips down one edge. Well, it should be ripping towards the open side. It shouldn't be ripping towards your lines. So actually that's helping you create, you don't want a flat bottom on anything. You always want like a, always sloping towards. And the fact that you can't get like a perfectly flat bottom, like it starts to rip, is meaning that you're creating the right dome on the bottom there. You want it like this. So if it's ripping, it means that it needs to be rounded out, dished out a bit more. So it's a good thing. Anyway, hang on a second. I'm going to put you on face cam for a second because I think I need to change my lens. Because I can't zoom out on this one. I checked and online it says this is okay. Hopefully it doesn't crash my touchscreen. Okay, cool. This is where everyone tells me you're going to ruin your camera. I did check online and it says doing that's okay. Block. Okay, sharpening chisels, super easy. Zoom out first. Hold your knife like this. Grab it here. All the pressure is coming here onto the crook of your thumb. You can do this bent over or you can do it on the table. Find your point. Grab it like this. So you can just see the tip there. And move side to side. That's it. Lock your elbow in. Make this joint sort of fuse when you find your angle. Hold it there. You can rock a little bit like this if you want to create a curve, but you just lock in, lock your whole body and do that. That's it. There's a few nuances to it, but that's all you need to do. You do it on a really coarse one. I have a 500. I don't want to show you them now, actually. I was sharpening earlier today and I haven't washed them. I use these Shapton now. These are ceramic. So I have a Shapton 1000 and a Shapton 500. Ideally, I'd want a 400. But they don't, Shapton doesn't do 400s in this stone. So it was a choice between a 300 and a 500. I went for the 500, but I kind of regret it. I'd like something a little coarser. Anyway, these are great. They're very expensive. So start on a coarse one, do that. It takes a long time because there's a lot of metal. But because there's a lot of metal, it keeps it really flat, side to side. That's it. You can come out to the edge and lift up a little bit just to get those corners. And then you rock it back and forth to smooth over that transition. Just the slightest movement. Sort of angle your body like that. I finally broke down and bought 3 Shapton stones. Nice, you'll enjoy them. They're really, really nice. I enjoy them. They feel really, really, really slick. And that's it. After you finish that, after you've got your cutting edge all sorted, you can see here that I took off the sharp edges here. We don't want sharp edges on any of our chisels. And I do that just by lifting up. You can see that my finger can go under here. Just round off those edges. You really don't want sharp edges on your knives. But yeah, that's it. You should be using clay and water on this. I'm not actually hitting it completely flat here because I don't want to damage my edge. I've got a nice edge on this at the moment. That's it. Sit there, give yourself 20-30 minutes. Just do it slowly. Just hold that position. Don't need to press so hard. Just go back and forth. Lock in. The knives are actually trickier. The cutting knives, because they rock really easily. You don't sharpen the knives like that either. That's just for flat chisels. And that same technique, actually, while we're here, it goes for all your ice skis as well. Just place it in the crook there. Place it on the stone. And side to side. These have less metal, so they'll have a tendency to... You'll have a preference to lean one way or the other. You just notice after you do it once, you lift up and look at it, and it might be on a bit of a diagonal, your tip. So what you do is you do it again, but you rotate a little bit the other way, and then lock in. That's it. So I encourage you to sharpen and use your big chisel. Use your big chisel. You'll save yourself so much time and your blocks will look nicer. And they'll print better. Smooth bottoms. It doesn't make a big difference. Do as you like, but big chisels are good. They're great. They'll revolutionise everything. Chat went super quiet when I did the sharp. No more sharpening stream bits, I think. Should we change back to the other lens, or should we carry on like this? What do you think? Can you see more of my hand movements? Not really. There's only 30 minutes left. Let's just stay on this lens. I think I want to use my pointy knife for this bit. Can't see. Yeah, there's ceramic blades are great. I went a long time before I decided to try them out. Until then, I'd been using just this cheap 1000 whetstone. And the reason I swapped to ceramic is because it wears out really, really quickly. And I had to keep dressing it. And because you have to soak them before you use them, I'd end up just leaving it in a little tub here next to my desk, and the water gets a bit scummy, so I'd have to keep like washing it because I don't want scummy water next to me all day. It didn't smell or anything, but it's just not very nice to be dipping your hands in like water that's probably festering. It was more so that it keeps winding out. So glass stones, yeah, they're ceramic, but the base is glass, which keeps them all like flat and solid. The really good thing about these ones is they don't wear out so quickly. I don't want to show you the front, it's awful, it's covered in slime. You really should wash these after. You use a bit of water, but you really should wash them after you sharpen. You shouldn't leave your stones like this. That's why I don't really want to show you. But yeah, they're glass on the bottom and then ceramic on top. Yeah, they're really nice stones. The Veritas jig, that's one of the sliding angle jigs. Yeah, those can work. The The only thing with those is if you want to do knives like these, chisels like these, you don't actually want them completely flat. So you could, if I was to use one of those jigs, I'd make it flat first and then I'd go in by hand and give it a little rock either side. You don't want the corners here on your big chisels or your ice ski to be too sharp. The more rounded you have your tip here, the less of that stuff that Flyfish was talking about happens, where it digs in if you lean one way. So the more rounded, I've seen some carvers, they have them really, really quite rounded. The problem with having it too rounded is it leaves sort of like gouge marks in the block. And I don't really want that. I want nice flat bottoms. It means less clearing up and like hand pushing and stuff after. So the flatter you have, the smoother the cut it makes. Uh-oh, you're going to get in trouble with Shapton. What? Oh, for not tidying the block, the stone. Yeah, Shapton's going to get you. I won't tell him if you don't. They actually also need to be flattening. I think I'll flatten them tomorrow. My shaggy though too. Finishing stone also needs to have a bit of a sharpen. Not a sharpen, a flatten. I don't know whether it's the wood in this part or it's my knives. I know they're kind of sharp, but in this section, it sort of feels like, I don't know, the wood's a little bit off. Bad workman and all that. You can get rollers that work with the bull nose so you can round things off a little bit. Interesting. Is this setup for one of those things like a lot? Is like getting it in the jig and like setting the angle and that. Is it a faff? Like sharpening stuff like that, like I've got that muscle memory now. I can just do that. But sharpening is like an ordeal to learn. No, it's super easy. Cool. So I put myself through hours of sharpening torture for nothing then? Is that what you're saying? I don't think we have so much time left. Right. There was one other thing that I wanted to do, and I want to put a poll up to see what people think. Currently, I'm streaming in Makers and Crafters. And just been paying attention to the Makers and Crafters sort of browse, because I'm looking for like people to raid, people to be interesting in raiding. Found a couple of other printmakers out there. I'm not sure there's going to be any of them on. But yeah, just looking at the numbers in Makers and Crafters for like discoverability, I'm a small stream. It'd be nice if the people that might enjoy this type of thing are able to find this kind of thing. But there's like consistently less than 1,000 people watching all the streamers in Makers and Crafting. And I was thinking that maybe like art is it's a more competitive category. There's like more people, so maybe that's worse for discoverability. But if there's no one in your category, then like people don't tend to look. And I think most of the people in art are like digital, so my stream would actually visually stand out if it was in the art category anyway. So we might get a few more people watching if I put myself in art category, I was thinking. So let me put a poll up. I want to see what you guys think. Should I stay in Makers and Crafting, or should I change my category to art? Does that poll come up? There it is, our first poll. I start sharpening in a weird way. The stone, thick diamond plate, up on its side, and prop it up with an engineer's block, and slide along at the... Wow, 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 wow. How did you start? Yeah, I started sharpening in a weird way. How did that start? I can sort of see your thinking. That's keeping the angle for you. Your advantage, Taryn, is that you carve so much and you're sharpening all the time. But all of us who don't... Yeah, don't build up those muscle memories. No, I'm not knocking those jigs at all. I think they're really, really... I think they're really, really useful. Sharpening is just... It's something we have to do to get knives so that we can get good results. Like, you should have sharp knives if you want to carve nicely. And if you're struggling to do that, which I also do, I have bad days with my sharpening where it just like doesn't happen. Sharpening is really finicky, and there are people that make it like their whole personality. There's like so many channels on YouTube, just like people who've made like a living out of just sharpening things, you know. And it's fun to watch those people as well, which is sort of the reason I don't want to make sharpening videos, because I know there's like a really big community and like people who do this. The way we do it is a little bit different in our craft, but the level's high there, and so sort of stepping into that with like, oh, I just sort of do this as a thing to get me done, you know. So the results are in Makers and Crafting. You think I should stay? Only 9 of you voted though. There's more of you in here than that, surely. Participation is key. Thank you for your submissions. We'll stay for now then. Maybe I'll do another poll in the future. I'm surprised more of you. I figured the printmakers watching me, most of you are not like attempting to be craftsmen. You're more in the school of Sosakahanga creative print movement. I thought you'd all be more art leaning. So that's an interesting result. It's not the one I expected. You tried it and got good results. Then it works. Go for it. That's awesome. You sent me a link here. Oh, holding it up on its side like that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I was thinking something different. Sliding it that way. Wait, is that a U-gouge in that video? What is that? Is that a fat or a U-gouge? I can't see a response. Watching that video makes more sense. I'm more confused actually. It seems to be you're getting really smooth blade there. I can't tell what that knife is though. It's a shallowish U. Okay, so like a saw ainomi. Interesting. Let's look at my saw ainomi, just for reference. So something similar to this one, just like a shallow groove. The way you're sharpening it there, you're like getting a square sharpened all the way across. So it's very interesting to see your knife versus mine there. I've got the U here because I'm holding it mostly flat. I'm doing these U's in the same way, but I'm just rocking side to side with them. Interesting. It's the edge that counts. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the back. If that works for you. Different strokes. What time are we on? We're nearly at time. Oh my god. That was the first time I sharpened that one. The profile came out. When you were voting, you were thinking more of discoverability. I think the decision between arts and craft is silly and old-fashioned. Yeah. But if you were looking for a carving stream, you'd start in Makers and Crafting. Okay. That's... Thank you for your insight on that. My 12mm shallow gouge is way shallower than that. They come in all sorts of sizes. Different brands, they give you different profiles. Like this is a shallow groove as well, but it's like a really, really shallow one. So they come in all different sizes. It's interesting, the stream times. I only start 3 minutes before the stream. But my thing says that we're like at an hour and a half. But we're still like 5 minutes away from the hour. I'm a bit confused. Anyway, we'll go to 11. I'll do like a nominal amount of carving now. Just finish this off. If you have any more sharpening questions, put them in now or forever hold your peace. I just got a shallow one. Show the whole gouge again, please. The shallow one. This one. It's kind of difficult to show the curvature of it. So this is the one I use for a hammer. It doesn't have a ring on the end, but it is for a hammer one. I just use this one. This is mostly for Shina. I don't really use this much. What is the benefit of art opposed to crafters? I just think there's more people watching that category. No, the really shallow one. Oh, it's like a large ice ski. called a saw normally, but it's got a shallow groove. Hold it the same as my ice skis. This is just for smoothing any ridge lines. It's like a handheld version of the big one. The blade is a little bit smaller though. I use this just for clearing up like the bottom of the block's a little bit messy, or there's like this difficult to get area in here. Not all carvers have one of these small saw, but Asuka Sensei uses them, and I really love this tool. This is great. It's one of my favorites actually. It's really satisfying to use this tool. I think that will do us, folks. We're at 11. I didn't get very far again today. I think that's going to be the theme of this. This is going to be the never-ending bonsai. Bonsais take a long time to make. I guess the original tree is about 400 years old. Hopefully we can get that print done in a little less time than that. Thank you all so much for showing up. I am not very good at ending these streams. I guess I need some sort of catchphrase at the end. Yeah, good night. Bye. Have a good one. How many ways can I say it before I actually end stream? I'm looking for the button, but I can't find it. Alright, peace everyone. See you. Thanks for showing up. Bye.